stumbling and not knowing what you're doing is really intriguing to me.
For sure.
Because I think it's a really generative, interesting way to like do something new. And I had done a bunch of shows 10 plus years ago. I did a series of shows where like one would be called a really quiet show and one would be called a really dark show. And so I do things like I'd play songs really quietly for a set, and that would be a little concert, and then the next set I'd do something with all the lights out, and you play mostly the dark, right?
Anyway, well, I remember your one-man amphitheater, that beautiful piece.
Yeah.
And I still tell people to this day about the experience of it, and it totally, and this was the impetus behind your build. I've read on your site here. You were interested in creating burdens and obstacles between the performer and the capacity to connect with an audience.
Yeah.
Be connected and disconnected simultaneously. I still put that off the website because I've been telling people for 15 years that it totally turned me around as a performer to be in that space, but not to be able to see the people that I was playing for and just hear it echo through the art gallery.
Yeah.
And sometimes hear like people clapping like way down the hall. But I found myself, the longer I was in there, I was so self-conscious. That it just totally reversed all the things that I had kind of conditioned myself to become as a performer.
Yeah. I think most working musicians hated it.
Yeah.
And then you had all of these like introverts who have never been on stage who loved it, right? Because it set them free.
That makes total sense, yeah.
But then to me it's like interesting that you put a burden and suddenly the audience is behaving differently and the performer is behaving differently. And so that project, which was 2008, I think.
Wow, yeah.
It was called the Mono Theatrum. So that then led to like, well, what happens if performers like can't see, has a hood on their head, and what happens if what if you turn up the lights? What happens if you close the distance between audience and performers, or you screw with it? And What if the performance? What if you can trick the artist into rehearsing and thinking they're not being watched, but then make that the thing that people watch, so people know that they're watching someone rehearsing? Yeah, like you can do all these like slight shifts, and it really changes how everyone behaves, And so the idea of like, I'll do a really has to lean in, and how will that change my relationship with the audience? Well, then it's coming full circle now. It's like at the end of one of these concerts, I had two people approach me because and these two women came up. They were very candid, and they said like, really enjoyed your show, but I'll tell you the best part was the sing along. And I said, well, tell me why? Because they made everyone wear matching T-shirts, and you had choreographies, and the leader was very precise. Like, I just want to sing for the joy of singing, right? And we were like, I should run a choir because that would be hilarious because I have no idea how to arrange music, how to structure harmony, how to really teach any of this stuff. Right after that, I think a couple months after that, Pete Seeger died. And I did this event at the Workers' Arts and Heritage Center called Sing Like Pete. And I tried to, Steve Sinix came, I think Dan Medikovich was there. I can't remember who we gathered, but I know those two guys were there. Mimi Shaw was there because I ended up doing quite a bit of work with her after that show. But like, really what it was, like people didn't come to watch a concert. They did not want to hear any of us sing at all. They wanted to sing. So we had like this room full of people and little boxes and all these things.
Yeah.
And so that was, then there was quite a discussion at the end of it about like, how come there aren't these places? How come there aren't more places where people experience? And that said like, maybe I should really try this choir. And then choirs never look back, right? Like we've got a solid base of it. It's never been wanting for members. People have changed its membership over the years, but it's always been like strong enough to carry forward. And making it through COVID is like now a badge of honor.
Oh, no doubt.
It's like choir can do anything.
No doubt.
Yeah.
That's great. So every
Yeah.
Tuesday you're starting September 17th?
Yeah, so next Tuesday, September 17th, we try and do a 7:30 start, but it's like herding cats. So I've never gotten choir started before 7:45. Quarter to eight.
Quarter to eight is the
And I said
musician,
last year,
7:30.
we took a full half hour of chatting and laughing and
Yeah.
distraction till we got singing. But yeah, so we start at 7:30. It's a very loose start.
Usually a musician 7:30 is around 8:10. So they're still ahead of the game.
Yeah. So I guess they're real musicians because they're not prompt at all.
For sure. Speaking of music, we've got you here.
Yeah.
You've got a guitar in your hand.
Sure.
Why don't we hear some music and then we can chat some more afterwards?
Okay.
All right.
Sure. I'll play a song that one of the themes that Tuesday Choir did was they challenged themselves to do songs that were written by Hamiltonians, right? So I think we did a song called Lighthouse by Will Gillespie. They picked Niagara, which is a Mimi Shaw song. They picked one of mine, so I thought maybe that's apt to do that. So this was my attempt to write like a gospel song. So I don't know if it succeeded or not. Let's see. I have stared low and stared straight into the face of a great love that I did not buckle and I did not break under the weight of a great love. All the blood of a rose, clenched as tight as a fist, has a smooth, delicate, intimate surface, but the warmth of the white sky coaxes out inevitable, beautiful purpose. I have stared low, stared straight into the face of a great love. Where did not buckle, I did not break under the weight of a great love. You're the cup that you earned ages ago, curling liver, crowning glory, the scar that you have on the bridge of your nose. No one knows that I know the whole story. I have stared long, stared straight into the face of a great love. But I did not buckle, but I did not break under the weight
Lukasik-Foss, everybody. Beautiful, man. Beautiful. So we were just chatting before we went on here. You've had quite a journey this summer with your latest artistic endeavor. New Way of Your Behavior.
Yes.
Tell us all about that.
Sure. So I wrote a fringe play, kind of unintentionally in a way. Like I'm part of a storytelling group called the Hamilton Seven, and I worked up this little storytelling piece about like 10 minutes long. In 2022, I had this little piece. I was telling it because it's something that happened. 2022 was like this crazy, weird year because I'd come out of COVID. I was working my job at the art gallery in Hamilton. It was a really stressful patch. Doing the work that I did through COVID, or leading my gallery's department through the challenge of COVID. Right at the end of it, my mom died. And then I started having these episodes at work, like I was shutting down, and I got really bad. I had to take a mental health leave. I had to go see a therapist, and then oddly enough, so my whole life is like upended in 2022, and I'm fully messed up. I'm working it through counseling, and then inexplicably I get obsessed with first wave alternative hits of the 80s on Sirius XM digital radio. Because I'm driving my kids, like my kids just started university. I'm in the car, like
Inexplicably.
yeah. What? Like at least 2 or 3 times a week, I'm doing long trips in the car, getting my kids to different places. Because I've got one kid going to the University of Guelph, another one's a basketball player, so he needs to go everywhere in God's green acre to do his rep basketball. So I become obsessed with all this new wave on Sirius XM radio, and I think because I was just like a little bit like searching and floundering and stuff, I just started like reading way too much into all of this music. Like I started.
It was speaking to you, kind of.
Like I was kind of developing like these sort of interconnections between like what I saw as like archetypes within the world of new wave. Anyway, it just got fully obsessive, and I was like, it was funny, and it was also kind of like I didn't know why it was so appealing to me to kind of go back to this music that I thought I'd completely left behind when I was 18 or whatever. And then weirdly, it started to kind of mirror what was happening in counseling, and I just thought that hilarious that somehow I was using new wave music as a therapy tool was just outrageous to me. So I came up and told a story about it because I'm going through that. The story, it was good. People responded to it really well, and then
the story in your story group.
I told the story. We do these live events.
Right.
We're doing this little residency through Theater Aquarius, so we would do these monthly or bi-monthly shows at Theater Aquarius where you work up like a 10-minute story piece and you tell it in front of an audience, right? So I was just so gassed about that experience and being able to tell the story well enough. Then that led me to work with this amazing director named Marilyn Nunez, and I said, I think I might want to turn this into something. Like, to me, it's like begging for some songs to be written about it, and wouldn't it be great if I could find like a banged up Dr. Rhythm drum machine the same as I had in 1982 and like put together these weird pieces of music down it. And so we went to rehearsals and I ended up forming this show, took it to Hamilton Fringe, had an amazing run there last year, got great buzz, was able to sell out my run, and then I was like, oh well, the show works, why don't you take it on the road? And so this year was like, I'll apply to all these Canadian fringes and see which ones I get into, and so then I've been spending this year learning how to take a work like that and tour it, and it's good. It's been really good.
Yeah.
It's been really good reviews, really good audiences. I'll probably, like I was saying before we started to you, that I will likely continue to put another year into it because now the show's kind of like ready to move and I know how to do it, and I'm still having a lot of fun doing it. So yeah.
How long did it take you to work it up so that before you brought it out, like when you first, from the the kernel of the idea to the first performance?
Yeah, so I told that story in January. I worked up the story, so it's a couple of weeks you're working up a story to tell. I told the story in January of 2022, wrote a draft of the script, brought it to Marilou, who basically said this is like crap. You know, your jokes are fine, but I don't care about jokes. Like, what's the story you're trying to tell?
Mhm.
And there's all of this like emotional weight. Like, let's find that. And so we just did a couple of months maybe of like meeting, being once a week, and then maybe 2 times a week closer to Fringe. So yeah, like.
Did you write? Was the music original music, or was it kind of covers of the
No,
stuff?
I didn't, because I didn't know anything about anything, and I knew that if I wanted to write stuff, I might have to get like clearance to use like music from the era, and I didn't know how to do that. So I was like, screw it, I'll just write my own songs.
Nice.
And then I was saying to you before, like I bought this Yamaha Reface keyboard. Yamaha put out these like tiny keyboards that are like little pastiches of like gear from the past. So they put out like a little pastiche of like a Fender Rhodes piano, but you have it in this little mini keyboard. Anyway, they did a version of that for the Yamaha DX7, which is like the iconic early 80s like synth, right? And so you
It's a tiny little toy size.
It's kind of a toy, but they build it so well that it's like there's a little cult of like keyboard nerds that are all like wrapped around these little truncated keyboards, right? And the presets are really good, like they're really gutsy, and you can modify them and stuff like that. So it's pretty dexterous. And I'm not a keyboard player, so I don't need much. Like, you know, I wanted something that was like a toy.
Yeah,
would allow me to learn it. Yeah, I couldn't get lost. It would allow me something simple. And I didn't want to do anything other than like use the presets, like use the really sort of cliched sounds of that era. And it is. You press one button, it's like, oh my God, that's a Depeche Mode song. That's Tears for Fears right there.
Yeah.
You know, and so that made it really easy. I couldn't find the drum machine that I wanted, but I found this like bizarre Swedish one that was really good. So yeah, I put a little kit together, and then like, because I don't play, I don't have a strong independence of hand, so I like built these songs that were very simple. Like
Search and Destroy kind of playing?
There is.
Yeah.
I have a little riff on one of the songs that's exactly that, right? Yeah. And then things that I could do live, because you know when you get nervous, you know about 60% of what you remember goes, right? And you have to kind of do it all over again because you're in front of you got adrenaline running.
At the last second too.
So I want these have to be bone simple because I don't want to do anything where I have to think too much to play them, right? Because I'll be telling this story and then running to back and singing these songs. So that was a good problem. Like it's good to have like all this stuff that I'm interested in. It's like that in and of itself was like here's a whole crazy set of limitations. Can you make something out of it? You know? So yeah, it was good.
That sounds like I've been familiar with your work for quite a long time now, and it sounds like that's your modus operandi is to take something and deconstruct it, challenge yourself with it, and then take it out into the world and kind of use it as a catharsis to kind of deal with what we all kind of do it to a certain degree as artists, right?
Yeah.
But you've done that with the performance art that you've done with the shows, with the diving into different genres of music, going back to Tiny Go Cody and what's traditional country and what's not, how can I put myself into that kind of, that's my take on it anyway.
Yeah. No, I think you're right on the money, and all of it is like, I think it all comes with like a fascination of like things like stage fright or social anxiety, where like, you know, there are circumstances where I am so introverted and have no abilities to behave socially, right? But the stage is one of them.
Exactly.
Stage is like super friendly place for me, mostly because like people are very far away, right? And so it relaxes a weird bit of. So to me, it's like
I fully understand.
Yeah, like so the stage has these limits on it too, and sometimes the limits to people are terrifying, and sometimes the limits are like liberating. And it's like
it's the place where I feel most myself.
Yeah,
and most serenity actually.
And so
yelling and banging on a guitar.
And so for me, it's like, well, what are other limits? Like, what are other things that you can do that maybe like light you up somehow, right?
Mhm.
Like, what other limits can you put in place, and will they be more terrifying? Or
Will you
less
crack
terrifying?
or will you
Yeah.
survive the?
And then sometimes the terror is good too, because if you're limiting yourself in a way that feels fully terrifying, right? Then and what you like run to the danger,
Yeah.
right? Those moments are like the best,
Oh,
right?
totally, of
Yeah,
course.
and you learn so much in those moments. So it's like, to me, it's like limits are everything. And not to be too aggressive, but I had this conversation. I was having lunch with Marilyn yesterday, and she was talking about AI, right? And this whole like, oh, AI is gonna like write better songs than people and all this stuff. But Nick Cave actually had this great argument, and it was all about limits. And he's saying, like, if you have AI and it's limitless, then it doesn't have anything to overcome,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no triumph in the overcoming. So Nick Cave said, like, we love Smells Like Teen Spirit because Kurt Cobain like transcended the limits of his voice, the limits of his mental health, the limits of everything to write these songs, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why we love these songs, right? And that all art is about like, how can you transcend your limits?
Of course,
right?
yeah. It's
So
about catharsis. It's about
Yeah.
There's what catharsis is something that's scraped every word, every lyric on the internet.
Yeah,
What,
so
what
you
if they
can't-
got to to me, it took me years to come to this, but as an artist and a writer and a performer, you may dovetail with this as well. But I say that artists, but using myself, I say I have a superior inferiority complex, and I'm an extroverted introvert. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
there's always that dichotomy of here's my stuff, but oh shit, here's my stuff. You know?
Yeah, and that the adage that you never do a good performance if you're not nervous, like you don't have the nerves going in, you don't have the energy to like throw it out properly, right? Like so, it's all this. You have to be like
up until it starts for me, and then
once you
nerves are gone.
practice,
I get nervous after the
yeah,
show,
yeah.
but I gotta go back to life, you know. But speaking of back to life, how about are there any songs that you can translate that you did in your show that you can play somewhat on the guitar for us today?
No.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't
Wait
even
to go up
know.
that rabbit hole, Gary. That line of questioning.
Good try though.
Yeah, good try. But how about something pertinent to what we're talking about,
A pertinent
or just
song.
a song of yours?
Sure. I'm just gonna pull one out of the hat. Used to be one of them. I used to be one of them. I used to be fat as a chicken, big old bird. Used to be one of them. I used to be one of them. Then I heard the word. Then I heard the word. Don't follow the plan. Don't follow the path. Just let go of my hand, don't ever look back. Hop the fence, cut loose the chain. Don't even speak a word, don't you dare utter my name. I see the stars up there, I see the beautiful sky, I see a light in the window, I see fireflies, so many lights,
So many lies. Which one do I choose? Which one is true? Now I'm a candy bird, I'm tougher, I'm thinner. I ain't no ribbon winner, I ain't no Sunday dinner. I'm just muscle and nerve, but I ain't no goner. 'Cause I heard the word, yeah, I heard the word. Don't follow the plan, don't follow the pack. Just let go my hand, don't ever look back. Hop the fence, cut loose the chain. Don't even speak a word, don't you dare utter my name. Climb up the mountain, just climb up the mountain, just climb up the mountain, climb up the mountain, keep climbing the mountain, keep climbing the mountain, keep climb up the mountain, just climb up the mountain.
Well, here comes the boss. Not Bruce Springsteen either. So that work that you did, putting the show together and all the other ancillary things you're doing therapy-wise, and the catharsis of building that show, was your 23 starting to put yourself back together after the rough 22, or?
Yeah. No, the doing that show was really great because it gave me a way to kind of figure it out, like, you know, because you go on like Shark Tank and help this and like there's like an engine, or I have an engine inside me that's like really wanting to punish myself for that. And it feels like a real failure. Like I can't do this job. Like my wife's going to work. My wife's a social worker, so she's like doing like a job that's always been like 50 times harder than any of the work that I've ever done. So you feel like a big like idiot, you know. And then going to counseling is one way, right? And all that. So to kind of put the story together was really good because it's like I can tell this story, right? I can connect with all sorts of people that are going through similar things. Anybody who's like in midlife, it's kind of we're all in the soup of that now. And,
For sure.
And so this show is like a funny way of like it's light, but it's got weight to it, and it feels really good. Like it feels like it's resonating with people. And,
That was my next question. Did you, as you took it across, did you have people come to you after the show?
Yeah.
I thought you were, I saw some of myself in the show. I saw.
Absolutely. Yeah. Lots of people asking about. Lots of people who again, like me, were really hesitant to think about like seeing a counselor, and because like what my doctor told me, because I thought I was having panic attacks at work, but I couldn't figure out because I wasn't like sweating or having a racing heart or doing all these things that are symptoms of like panic. And my doctor was the one who said like you're probably not panicking, you're dissociating, and I had never really knew what that word meant. I didn't know what it really was, right? And so I talk a lot about like what it means when you just shut down, right? You feel so much stress that you just like it's like the light switches are going off, and you can function and you can talk to you're kind of like a ghost.
Yeah, disconnected from yourself.
So I mean I've done it all my life, like as a coping mechanism. It just got really bad after my mom died, and then I write this show, and I'm trying to be pretty frank about like what it means to like learn about that and like figure out a way to like
3 chords in the truth.
Yeah. So yeah, and then it was good because doing this show and you're meeting lots of people who are the same. Like I had a young person in Winnipeg tell me that she's been diagnosed as having a dissociative condition, but her parents said don't ever talk to anyone about it. And so like that kind of stuff.
That's still that stigma.
It's the best, right? And like you write a song that's truthful and you get a connection to it. Like why else do you want to be an artist?
No,
that,
exactly.
Right? Like
the saying.
Money's good and gigs are fine and
great art tells us about.
It's good, but really like when you're doing something and you feel like it's connecting with people, it's such a charge.
Yeah, good art tells us about the artist, but great art tells us about ourselves, right?
Yeah.
And when you can write a song or write a show or do something that somebody comes up to you and says that's about me.
Yeah.
Then that's the humanity of it, right?
Yeah. Sure. I really learned like what's special about like fringe festivals. Like Winnipeg Fringe is the second biggest in Canada, so it's huge. A huge community around it of people, and they're like they're the same people that go to places like this, right? Who people come here. They come here because they love music. They want to connect with musicians, right?
For sure.
So I didn't really know that there's like a theater version of that, like. And I know like there are like people who go to Shaw Festival and they see the things, but it's like this is more like no, we want to see performers, and we want to see performers that have like speaking the truth, right? It was a little bit more like immediate and a little bit more raw. So I saw it
on the fringes of theater.
Yeah. So there's something to me that's really analogous to between fringe festivals and like small clubs, playing small clubs, right? And
it's like an instant community.
It's the instant community. The audiences might be small, but they're really, really passionate, and they really listen well, and they attend well, and then you can really bond with them, right? You can really make that connection. So so that made it a little less strange.
We call it collecting people.
Yeah.
I've been collecting people now for 20 years. Failing at the music business, but collecting people. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
For sure. At the end of the day,
it's the new currency. It's the social currency is the new currency.
Absolutely. 100%. How are we doing on time, Mr. Greenman?
We got plenty.
We got plenty. You want to perform another song for us? Or?
Sure. I don't know what I can do.
Anything from the Tiny Go Cody canon still accessible?
Yeah.
Going back for the next chat we have, I've got to just blather all over about my fanboyness of your Tiny Go Cody lyrics.
I know. When I met up with teenage Elliot, he had a knife and was stabbing the pavement. Said I do this for the hell of it, for my own entertainment. Said I know I should be at school, developing my potential, trying to build myself a life that's a little more substantial. Said, I like to be comfortable. I got a Fonzie shirt and a new pair of cords, and a cool place to hang around. I may look bored, but I'm not bored. Even though people stare at me, and their eyes have so much fear, it's like they think that I'm just here
And tonight when the twilight hits, I'll watch the streetlights stammer on. We'll roll around this downtown core with my skateboard and my feel for life. Sometimes later I'll find my friends and have a smoke at the corner store, and we'll chip away another useless, crazy day. He said, you know, I'm also in a band. We kinda suck, and no one's seen us. That's okay, 'cause it's fun to do. Anyway, I'm not in it to get famous, you know. I just like writing songs about the things I think about. And I like to wake on my guitar and scream my angry brains out. And tonight when the twilight hits, I'll watch the streetlights stammer on. Roam around this downtown core with my skateboard and my thrill for life. Sometimes later I'll find my friends and have a smoke at the corner store, and we'll chip away another useless, crazy day. Red-handed, sure-handed, single-handed, backhanded, underhanded, teenage Elliot.
Yes. Wow. Yes. And I know that laughing handshake when you're just remembering the song a millisecond before you have to play the part of that song.
Yeah.
I recognize that.
And then I think maybe it's like 15 or 20 years since I've done that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's kind of wild. Like it's
That's
how it
from
comes
Stranger
back,
Heaven
right? You
Leader.
gotta
Yeah.
just like be calm.
Yeah.
Be
It'll
calm.
come. It'll
I
come.
don't know what the lyric is, but
Yeah.
oh wait.
It'll be delivered just in time. JIT.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that talking about those times, those Tiny Buck Cody times, I gotta say that those records, Stranger We Have No Leader
Yeah.
and The Quiet Inches, are two of my favorite records in not just the Hamilton canon, but the world. Like I just love those records you made. And I saw you. We might have even played on the show together at the staircase with you with the Liquor Men. Yeah. Great stuff.
Yeah.
So what was your kind of ground zero moment as far as taking up music? Was it just like your push-pull against the awkwardness and the kind of position you were in as a young person to make yourself play music and express yourself, or how did that start out for you?
It started out with like me making recordings in my bedroom, right? Like, so I had like a Walkman and another tape deck, and I would balance tracks and like and make all these weird recordings because I didn't consider myself remotely good guitarist, and so I knew a few things, but I just was like curious, and then found that led to wanting to write songs, right? To
to just have structure around which I could like make these odd recordings, and then that moved into 4-track recording and stuff like that. So I did years of that before I had the courage to do it in front of people. Yeah, and then it was the Hamilton Folk Club.
Oh, up the street here.
Yeah, not the original iteration was third floor of the Gown and Gavel.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and so I started going there, mostly like to pick up girls.
Like literally pick them up and carry them? Because you're a pretty large guy, actually.
Yeah, it just seemed like, oh, like these, you know, the young people are going to the folk club, like not too many of them, and they're like clearly interested in music, and so it would be a good way to like meet people. And then I just like, it just seemed like, oh man, like 2 songs, that's all they ask. You know, and everyone's going up, and so yeah, so I think I went up there and I played Golden Rocket by Hank Snow, and maybe a Johnny Cash song, and that was how it started. It was like, oh, I can do this, you know, and then it was like years of just doing like learning folk songs, so I could just go up weekly to the folk club and play my 2 things and get a bit sharper. And then one of the women that was going, young women that were going to the folk club too, a woman named Simone Scott, was a singer, so we started doing some things together, and then that like led eventually into the band. So it was organic that way. And then when you have like, it just seems like natural that if you're playing with people, you need material. So I just started writing the songs because I now had a means to perform. So it was like, oh, I was doing these weird kind of novelty songs for my own amusement when I was in high school. I won't do that, but now I'd like to try to write a song that people could enjoy. You know?
Was that a laborious process for you, or did you kind of? I was speaking with Haley earlier on, and we were kind of talking about the songwriting process and the kind of outer body experience of it, where it comes through you and to you as opposed to by you at times. Was that similar to your process, or were you squeezing the pen and choking the paper and doing it all yourself, kind of thing, without the help of the universe?
No, I think there was a little bit of like getting help from the universe. I think what mucked me up, like I think my insecurities got into the early songs quite a bit because I would overwrite them.
Mm-hmm.
Like you couldn't just like let the sort of muse take you and like just use that. I just felt like, so the first songs were like so overwrought. All of them had like 9 verses.
You're singing your diary.
Yeah. But really like, and I couldn't get that feel for like how I always felt like every idea should be kind of completed, everything should be resolved. I think the whole idea that songs hold mystery eluded me when I was young.
Right.
I thought like
you wanted the narrative story arc.
Yeah. And if I didn't understand the song's lyrics, that meant that I was stupid. It didn't mean like the song lyrics were like incomplete or mysterious. It meant that I just didn't get what the point was. I just thought like everything had to be really, really, you know,
literal,
rigorously thought.
Yeah.
And you know, Duran singing about the union of the snake and the wild boys, like not making any sense at all. I just thought, no, I just don't get it. It's poetry at another level. It's like I'm too stupid to understand what these bands are going on about. And then like Tom Waits, you know, is a big influence on me. Like he writes these kind of snatches, and sometimes the narrative's never complete. They just like bring you into a universe, and then you sort of sit in the universe of the songs, and then you're out again. I did not get that. Like I just thought like you introduce a story, you finish the story, you wrap everything up, you like complete every idea. And so I had these like massive, onerous early songs.
Yeah.
It took me a long time. Like now I'm like, how can I? Oh, more mystery in things. Like I love the idea of like the story that's incomplete or a song that's just as a fragment of something that just hangs. You know, I like the art of that, and I really like the economy of song. My whole interest in country music is about comedy.
Right.
It's like how does
Hank Snow or Johnny Cash or Willie Nelson, like, get in and out so fast.
Mhm.
So Willie Nelson had first hit was Hello Walls, right? It's like a classic 3/4, brilliant song.
Totally.
It's like I stare at the walls, I stare at the windows, I stare at the ceiling, I miss my
I
baby.
got you.
Yeah, and it's like, but it's so perfectly raw, and it's lean and it's exactly what the song requires. No more. There's not like an ounce of fat on it.
For
It's
sure.
like just a perfect. And so to me, like country has been really important because I think that's what then allowed me to graduate and write a better song.
Yeah.
Because I learned.
So what about picking up, we spoke before, we have kind of our journey is that we picked up kind of a persona and performance art piece in identity.
Yeah.
Like you picked up the Tiny Bill Cody, you inhabited that identity.
Yeah.
And that came with a certain story, maybe a backstory, I don't know, but some way that you could go through the world as Tiny Bill Cody, play your songs, and then take the Tiny Bill Cody hat off and go back to being Tor, right?
Yeah, and then like you must have this too. You go to another city, and suddenly people only know you as Famous. They don't know you as Mike, right?
Mhm.
Like no one would ever know Tor. They just call me Bill.
Exactly.
And it's like, this is awesome. Like,
Yeah, I know, it's great.
I can rob a bank.
Exactly. No first and last names.
Traceable. Like this is
The less
fantastic.
people know my name, any of my names, the better.
But then, like as I get older, it's like, well, yeah, it's good. It's also a weird hiding place, right? Like you're at this identity is a mask. It's another place to shield yourself, and it's like, So like then the question is like, do I still need that? Like,
Yeah.
So it's interesting to think because the Fringe stuff I do under my own name. And I put the 4 songs that I wrote for that Fringe show on Spotify under my own name.
Okay.
So it's like, oh, now I officially have 2 musical identities.
Right.
So it's like, what do I do?
I told you what my dilemma was when I first, I mean, I can do it now, but when I first was playing at a party show at an art gallery, a friend's gallery downtown, but I was just there, as me, as Mike.
Yeah.
And then I was trying to play my songs without the suit on, and I couldn't remember any of the lyrics. Like I couldn't even get into the thing, like.
It's like shooting the gal from the
It was very bizarre.
only knew the lyrics when he was drunk, right? He couldn't be sober and sing a folk song.
Drunk with power. That was me. I was drunk with the power of the
State-dependent
50
learning,
suit.
yeah.
for
Absolutely.
sure.
Yeah. No, I totally jive with that.
Yeah.
Like, and to be liberated, right? Because Tiny Bill Cody is like, it's a definable entity for me, right?
Mhm.
There's a bit of a wannabe evangelist in Tiny Bill Cody, right? Who wants to yell truths at the
see that.
audience and wants to like sermonize and do these grander, bigger things,
Mhm.
right? And so so great to inhabit that in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine was as much about just minimizing the insatiable quest for fame over art. So my impetus to be famous was to get the famous part over with. And just be free to fail at the business for decades because I'm already famous. So that doesn't.
I gotta get you. I have for a project I did like 20 odd years ago. I made these buttons, and the button says "Obscurity is the new fame," right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I've seen that.
I should get you. I still got a couple of people now. I'll make sure.
Sign me up.
Yeah, and then I did a project in Saskatoon where I would like a poster. I said like, Tiny Bill Cody's coming to do 4 concerts in Saskatoon, and concert number 1 is in the men's bathroom at the Saskatchewan Art Gallery, right?
Right.
And then only, you fit like 8 people in this men's bathroom. But that was who saw the show. And then the next one was in the stairwell, right?
That's cool.
And then the last one was in the woods, but I didn't tell anybody where it was. So you just had to find it. Because I know it's in the woods near the university, so come and find me. And people did, like it was good.
That's great.
But you'd have these, but then you'd like obscurity is the new thing, like don't you know? Like, the less people come, the more I succeeded in my goals here. Like it was all about because I had the same thing.
Right.
Fame was like a weird like coconut in your head. You couldn't. It was messing everything up.
Well, it's held up there. Just it's equal or better. The star you're aiming at is that above artistic truth, craft, growth as an artist, connection, community. The fame thing is like, by our culture, the fame is the biggest, is on the top of the cherry tree.
Yeah,
Right?
you use it to weaponize yourself against, oh, this room, it's just a small room.
Yeah. Or not for people to say that.
I need to go to the next thing.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, you get into bigger stages, and suddenly, you're much further away from the crowd. It's much harder to build that relationship with the crowd. Right? So then it's like, oh, well, wait a minute, maybe the small room is the best freaking room of them all.
Yes.
Because you can be fully connected, right?
Yeah.
In space to them. And how do you rewire your brain so that you get all that? Yeah.
Totally. How are we doing on time, Gary?
We got enough time rather, for the song.
We got time for another song, Tor? You want to throw yourself on the high wire and rip one out right here at the Captain Fiddle over to John and Augusta? Hearing starting September 17th. Tuesday choir.
Tuesday choir. Next Tuesday.
Yep.
All right, I gotta go, man.
Good to see you.
Sorry, man, I'm with you. I'm okay.
Looking for an answer that was well outside the ordinary. She handed out papers up and down the valley. Anyone whose heart is kin to something heavy, join me. I'll set you free, I'll set you free, I'll set you free. Found herself a room that was large and wide and empty. Pushed across the room and cracked the door to draw a breeze. Place for those of us who share an infinity. To breathe. Together breathe, that's all we need. And then one by one, we'll drag in the cages and we'll stare at the faces of the wolves inside the cages, and we'll make the call of the wild. We'll make the call of the wild. And then all of us, every one of us, together in the wilderness, all of us, every one of us. All fights the moon. Lord, take that thing that lies so heavy in our belly. spit it up and lay it down into the ground as if it were a kind of CD. What new form of life is it that we be setting free? Something delicate, something extraordinary. So let's one by one, we'll make ourselves courageous and we'll steady up our gazes and open up the cages and we'll make the call of the wild. We'll make the call of the wild. And let all of us, every one of us, together in the wilderness, all of us, every one of us.
Thanks so much, Tor.
Thank you.
Great conversation. Great to hear you and see you play. You're
See you
a
again.
force of nature, and you make our city a better place.
Right back at you.
100%.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Thank you so much, Tor.
Right here.
Working on your green jacket as well.
Green jacket, yeah. Two-time,
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
two-time
It was on our
champion.
very first show.
You were on the
It
very
was
first
very
show.
first
Was that the very
That's
first show?
You're like the,
Wow.
you're like the George Carlin of
Will Ferrell.
rock,
That's right. That's right.
Shake It Up Radio right here at the Cabin Fiddle. And you're, just to clarify once again, Tuesday the 17th, Tuesday Night Choir.
Tuesday,
You're back.
17th, 7:30. Yeah,
Beautiful.
$5 if you got it. Don't worry if you don't.
Awesome.
You've been listening to Shake It Up Radio on Canuck Tunes Online Radio. Join us next week with special guests Alfie Smith, Paul Capke, and Gene Kreisman and Norm.
Yep.
Till next week from the Cabin Fiddle, this is Canuck Tunes Online Radio.
Really, me too. Yeah, so good. Yeah, really good to see you again too.
Yeah, you too. Good luck in your future endeavors. For sure, I'll be keeping track of you.
Yeah.
I didn't know you had songs from the show up on Spotify. So I was looking for stuff to listen. I looked on YouTube. and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
New Wave Human Nature. Yeah, it should be up there. There's a Noisy Rebel. There's like this small label that's run by Michael Chambers and Kathleen Farrelly. Michael Chambers was one of the owners of Captain North after Glenn and Dan left, and then now he just runs he runs a little studio in his house, and she runs this digital only label. So they've been really good to work with us. It means that it means I can do something small and not worry about pressing things or yeah. So you can get it out and get a platform. It was really helpful during Finish to have to say hey, you like the show. So
They're already on your phone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming out. It's great to see you
Thanks.
again. I love your voice. I'm just a big fan.
Oh, good.
I'm hoping to be here Tuesday. So.
Oh, good.
You're
Please
gonna come on and
But I don't sing
go
very
on
well.
Tuesday.
I try hard, but I don't sing.
Yeah, no, that's not. That's
I do
easy.
love singing.
There's an old saying.
You just have to love it, you do. And honestly, some of my favorite people in choir. There's one woman who joined choir. She was coming every night. She didn't. She was mouthing words, and then she confessed. She's encouraged yet to sing, but I opened my mouth, and now she's like hard in it. I just said take all the time you need. A whole bunch of other people just they just sit and they would listen, jump in for a little bit, jump back. It's so low pressure, right? Yeah.
I'm excited. Alex has me totally convinced. He breaks everybody.
And you know what?
so that's awesome.
The best people, they are really nice,
Yeah.
really good group of people. Yeah.
I'm excited. I got it on my schedule.
Good.
Okay, so many lights to take down.
Yes, it's quite a production.
Oh, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It really is a lot of fun. Yeah.
It's good. Well, I appreciate you having me.
No, it was awesome. Thank you for playing my guitar. My guitar never sounded so good. This cheap little guitar.
It's good. I like playing.
I bought it for a granddaughter. No, I'm just gonna leave it here for a little bit longer.
It's good. Guitars always have their weird personality and they pull you in different ways and make you do different things. So
An
it's good.
Amazon guitar. No main guitar. It's got no manufacturer really. It's just one of those.
Does its job, yeah.
That was good. You made it sound awesome. Appreciate it. Stay safe. I'll see you
Okay, thanks.
Tuesday. I'll
Yeah.
see you Tuesday.
Okay, what's his name again? Did you hear that?
Oh, Famous.
Famous.
His name's Mike, but everybody calls him Famous. He just went to the bathroom.
Okay, that's fine, so that's for him. Famous, I like that, famous. Are you doing okay for a drink? You're on your way out?
Yeah, I'm on the way out.
Okay, I
Thanks.
just wanna make sure.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Happy Friday.
Famous just went to the bathroom.
Yeah, I'll wait and say goodbye properly too.
Would you like another grab stairs up?
Not yet. I'm gonna have the potato skins though,
Okay.
but not yet.
Don't worry, you just let me know. I got you covered. I got you.
So this radio show goes out live and then it doesn't.
It's live, yeah. Now, we're not live now. Now we're playing Hamilton musicians, which I have you on there.
Nice.
And, yeah, so until 4 o'clock today, it's all Hamilton.
Yeah.
And then, it goes out live on Wednesday at noon. It just replays.
Oh, nice.
The show replays.
Okay, good.
And if you want a copy, I can send you a copy. There's not a problem with that. Like, I could send you an MP3 of the show. I have no problem with that.
Monday.
He was here.
Yeah,
I sent myself after.
yeah. All right.
You guys sounded great.
job.
That was a great
And
conversation.
let me know about the launch.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, record.
Thank you.
I'm making a bunch of,